How can we fight frustration? Today we're going to talk about the 4 keys to developing perseverance, patience, and grace. First, you need to make sure that you're doing prevention. If you're not doing any prevention, then you're more likely to get stressed anytime something goes wrong. So you want to make sure that you're getting plenty of margin. Guard those restorative times that you have to set as a habit on your calendar. So that means avoiding hurry by putting lots of buffer time between the things that you have scheduled in your day. If you don't have enough buffer time, then the urgent and the unexpected is going to fill into those spaces and crowd out the time that you need to really think things through. So that creates stress, and it creates stress before something goes wrong. So the first thing you want to do to avoid your frustration getting to overwhelm point and crisis point and volcano point is to make sure that you have done ahead of time what you need to make yourself resilient to stress in the first place. Nourish your brain with plenty of sleep and proper nutrition. That means that you're giving your brain those omega-3 fatty acids and proteins and vegetable whole food based diet so that you're not toxifying yourself and fighting against the things that you need in your neurochemical balance to help you be prepared to respond well to stress in the first place. So after you've done all of your prevention things, if you come across something that's frustrating, the first thing that you should train yourself to do as a habit is pause. That means step back from the things that's frustrating, like I've just done so many times with technology. Isn't that the thing that often gets us irritated? Step back from your project. Give yourself time to let your heart rate go back to resting rate. What happens when you get stressed? Your brain doesn't know the difference between a frustrating piece of technology, a frustrating email or text from somebody, and a word that somebody is telling you that's not a physical threat, and an actual lion trying to attack you. That is how your brain shuts down the same way for all of those threats and goes directly to limbic system functioning, which means fight, flight, or freeze. No problem solving. No cognitive processing. None of the things in your executive functioning skills part of your brain are actually working when you start to get stressed. So giving yourself time to let your heart rate go back down, take a breath, and actually pray through letting God give you the calm, the peace that comes from His Spirit, and maybe even some wisdom on how to approach this problem that you wouldn't have thought of on your own. If you take the time to pray and to get your heart rate back to resting rate, then you'll have the wisdom and the resources and the actual brain functioning that you need to solution focus. And that is the other thing that you need to do after you have prevented, after you have paused and prayed. And the third thing that you want to do is give yourself some perspective. Once you've paused, then with that brain functioning, you'll go into being able to give it perspective. Is this going to actually matter in 20 years, in 10 years, in 5 minutes? And try to avoid, with some humility, taking yourself too seriously or even your project too seriously. You are not going to make or break the end of the world as we know it. So make sure that you put it in perspective and add a little sense of humor. Humor actually changes your brain chemistry. So that's part of perspective, having a sense of humor and humility with that project and whatever it is that's frustrating you. And lastly, switch from problem focused to solution focused. The last P in your tips is problem-solving mode. You have to be calm to do this, so you have to do the other steps first. But problem-solving means that instead of looking at the problem as impossible, look at what you do have. What is one thing that you can do to move slightly forward on what you need to do? That gives you time to research, look for solutions, and maybe ask for help. You might need some support. This might actually be beyond your scale of expertise, so you can get somebody else to support you. It's not good for man to be alone, as Scripture said, and we're not meant to do life and solve all of our problems on our own strength. We're meant to come into community to support and help each other. So getting that solution focus will be your last step, and that'll help you move forward past frustration and do it when you've got brothers and sisters around you, when you've got the power of prayer and other people's prayer supporting you. You can do those things in peace. I hope this has been encouraging and given you helpful tools to live your best. For coaching, speaking, or more content, make sure you visit my website, tinayeager.com. And I look forward to sharing with you again for another message to help you flourish.